Hello everyone, welcome to today's video. So as you have seen already, already we have done video on the analysis of the sample paper that was released by CBSE recently. Uh, so if in the sample paper, while we were discussing the topics which are mentioned in the sample paper, we have discussed that we will be doing a video on important topics chapter wise, which will help you to score the maximum, that means 100 only. Obviously, if you are aiming at full marks for accounts, for paper like accounts, which are the topics that you need to cover for sure. Okay, so obviously in every chapter almost all the topics will be important. Certain chapters, like certain topics are, like compared to other topics, they are more important to be covered for while preparing for boards. So which are those topics? That is what we are discussing in this video. This video is not for what to say those who are struggling in accounts to get some good like pass marks, or that not that kind of video. It is meant for those students who are aiming at 9500. I'm not saying that nobody who is struggling in accounts shouldn't watch this video. Everyone, if you watch this video and still time is there, it's not like what to say only particular set of people should watch this video so that they will only get the benefit out of it. It is not like that. Anyone who is interested to score maximum marks in accounts can watch this video. Those are struggling for what to say getting pass mark at this point of time, or struggling to score a good marks in accounts, first you go through the other video and cover those topics first, then you come to this video and watch this. It's not like this video is not meant for them. You can also, you have to watch, but you have to do it in a systematic manner. That is what I was trying to tell. So those videos, first you go through the other video where we analyze the sample paper. There we have mentioned certain important topics. Cover those topics first and come to this video so that the revision for accounts will be complete. Okay. So we are not considering anyone as below average and above average. Anyone can score good marks in a subject once you put the interest in it. So please, but there should be a process where you are pushing yourself forward. So obviously there is a process that you have to follow. Systematically only we can reach our goals. If suppose you are planning to score high marks or best marks, your top marks in accounts or any other subjects, not only for accounts, any other subjects, slowly and steadily we have to go. So first, as a first step, first you watch the other video, then you come to this video so that your process will be complete. So without further delay, let us start. So important topics chapter wise for 25-26 board exam, accountancy. That is what I mentioned here. So first chapter we'll be discussing the most important topics, very important topics chapter wise. Some of the topics which we mentioned in that video, obviously that will be coming here. Okay. So first chapter that you all are familiar with is partnership fundamentals. You must have studied it like fundamentals of partnership. So first chapter is partnership fundamentals. In this chapter, which are the most important topics? I will start from the most important topic in this chapter, that is past adjustments. Okay, I will start with the most important topic, past adjustments. In every chapter, we will be starting with the most important topic, followed by least important topics or less important topics. Okay, not so it will be ending with the least important topic. It's not like it is not final blueprint of question paper and all. This video is just meant to help those people who wants to secure the highest, who wants to ensure that okay, we have covered all the topics for exam. It is for those students only. So if you think like you are at the stage where you already know all the basic parts or basic questions or basic topics in accounts, this video is meant for you. Okay, just to cross check whether you have covered all these topics or not. Okay, so one is past adjustments. Past adjustments, obviously you know it is based on some kind of mistakes that we have made in the past and how to correct it. There are two methods here. One is rectification entry, only single rectification entry is there. Second is entries method. You must not have studied it like rectification entry. Instead of that, you will be using the word adjustment entries. So adjustment entry method and adjustment entries method. If plural comes, there is another method. Through profit and loss adjustment account, you have to rectify or correct the errors. So that method, both the methods are important when it comes to past adjustments. So first topic is obviously past adjustments. Second topic when it comes to this is guarantee of profits. Guarantee of profits. Guarantee of profits, when you are doing, you have to study both entry as well as accounts. Entry as well as accounts means if you are preparing capital account of a partner or profit and loss appropriation account of a partner, mostly appropriation account only is important. So appropriation account of a partner, how will you show the deficiency that is adjusted? So deficiency word and all you must be knowing by now. So the deficiency, how you would adjust the deficiency and all, that you need to check. Also guarantee of profits entries, entry based questions you have to practice. These two are the most important topic in this. Next important topic is capital or interest on capital related indirect questions. Interest on capital related indirect questions. So interest on capital related indirect questions means the questions where they will say only the closing capital. Sometimes you may have to find out the opening capital. Interest on capital, you know, it is calculated on the opening capital basically. Most of the time we'll be calculating interest on, not most of the time, always will be calculating the interest on capital on the opening capital. Okay, so interest on capital already it is calculated and given, but value is not available. They will give the closing capital. So from there, how to go back? So interest on capital related almost all the entries. There are topics where profit is insufficient to give interest on capital. So remember all those topics. So that is how you have to do. Profit is insufficient. In that case, how to pay interest on capital? Sometimes interest on capital will be a charge. Sometimes it will be an appropriation. When it will be a charge, when it is an appropriation. All these kind of topics you have to go through. So interest on capital, whatever topics you come across or whatever different questions you come across interest on capital, all the questions try to attend. That is one of the important topics. Then next important topic is the recent years, or we are expecting this in past year also we have expected, and this year also we are expecting a topic that is actually appropriation account preparation and capital account preparation. So this topic is very important these days. Okay, so appropriation account or capital account preparation, don't expect any kind of direct questions from this topic. There will be some twist. So read the question properly and do the calculations. Okay, so when you are preparing appropriation account and capital account of the partners, remember capital account is prepared under two methods: fixed capital method and fluctuating capital method. So both the methods you should be thorough with. Then only you can score well in this topic. Okay, because mostly twisted questions only will be coming in this topic. These are the most important topics from the first chapter. Then rest of the topics and all you can revise. It's not like you should leave it just like that. This video's purpose is not to misguide you, okay, by saying that these only will come. That is not what I am trying to tell, but you have to ensure that these topics are covered. Other topics you have to cover. Say for example, reserve calculation will be there. Then salaries calculation will be there. Commission is there. Partners commission is there. How to calculate partners commission. Similarly, and interest on drawings is there. Average profit method, super profit. So that also I will write. Interest on drawings. Average, not average profit. Average period. Average profit is coming in goodwill calculation, right? Average period method, product method, or simple method. Okay, so average period, product, simple method. These methods, especially average period method, just go through that. They are also indirect questions. You try to practice or get practice, okay, in indirect questions from all the topics, not only from this chapter. Whatever chapters you are practicing, you try to practice your explore more indirect questions. Then only you will be confident enough to attend board papers. Okay. So these are the important topics in the first chapter. second chapter, when it comes to second chapter, obviously goodwill, some of you must have learned goodwill along with this, so I am discussing it as a separate topic. Okay, so second chapter I am just taking it as goodwill. Some of you must be confused. Goodwill we have studied along with the first chapter. Why is he not saying about this? So goodwill I am talking as a separate topic only. So that is why goodwill I wrote next. Goodwill, when you are reading, you just go through the theory part of goodwill. What is goodwill? Then how many types of goodwills are there? You know, purchased goodwill is there, self-generated goodwill is there. Then what are the factors affecting goodwill? Which accounting standard? Accounting standard is related to recording of goodwill. So accounting standard 26. Remember all these basic things when you are going through goodwill calculations. Whenever you come across any question about goodwill, all these theory topics should come to your mind. Okay, goodwill. What I am going to discuss here is, obviously, apart from the theory part, we have already many methods to calculate the goodwill. Okay, basically three methods: average profit, super profit, and capitalization method. Average profit, again, simple average, weighted average is there. So all the methods, indirect questions you should practice. Okay, all the method indirect questions. So whether it is average profit method or super profit method or capitalization method. Average profit, remember there is simple average and weighted average. Here also capitalization method, there are capitalization of average profit, capitalization of super profit. In the entire chapter, remember the formulas for capital employed. Formula for capital employed, how to calculate capital employed. So this formula, this is one of the important things, not only in this chapter, many other chapters. Even in the third book also capital employed is coming. Third book means obviously this analysis of financial statements. Okay, so in those topics also this capital employed calculations are coming. So capital employed is one of the important things that you have to focus on when you are doing goodwill related calculations. Then indirect questions. Okay, indirect questions means abnormal losses, abnormal gains will be there, which is given in the question. So how to adjust those abnormal losses and gains when you are calculating goodwill. So that is how this chapter should be studied, or this topic should be studied. Next topic that we are discussing is change in profit sharing ratio. In this chapter you have to focus on obviously ratio calculations. You have to focus on ratio calculation. Ratio can be sometimes gaining ratio will be there, you know, sometimes sacrificing ratio will be there, sometimes new profit sharing ratio will be there, sometimes new profit sharing ratio will be given, you will be asked to go back or find out the old profit sharing ratio. These kind of questions you have to practice. First basic questions, how to calculate gain or sacrifice and how to calculate new profit sharing ratio. There are questions where they will give new profit sharing ratio and ask you to calculate something else. It can be old ratio, it can be gain, it can be sacrifice. So this kind of questions, indirect questions, try to attend. Okay, so ratio calculation is one of the important topics. Next is reserves are not to be distributed. Reserves are not to be distributed cases. So reserves, reserves and accumulated profits. Normally, you know, reserve will be transferred to partner's capital account. When they use this statement in the question, it means that reserves should not be transferred to partner's capital account. Instead of that, we have to pass one entry. Okay, so that method we are referring it as net effect method. So net effect method kind of questions when reserves are not to be distributed, and associated with it I will say revaluation profit. Okay, or revaluation question also the same method is applicable. Sometimes they will say revised values are not to be shown. Revised values are not to be shown in the books. So these questions, revised values are not to be shown in the books. So if in all this, in both these cases we are using the same method only. So that method, okay, or how when reserves are not to be distributed to the partners, what is the entry that we have to pass. Similarly, when they say revised values of the assets or liabilities are not to be shown in the books, what are we supposed to do? So these kind of statements, many other statements are there. When you go through this topic, you will come across different sentences, different statements which has the same answer. So which are the statements that they are using, that you should know. Okay, if you have any doubt in any of the topics that we are discussing today, just please leave a comment so that we can have a dedicated video on that particular topic. Next, so that is there, change in profit sharing ratio chapter. Basically these three are the most important topics in this chapter. Rest of the topics, anyways, those topics are coming in the upcoming chapters discussion. So along with it, you should understand how it is done in the case of change in profit sharing ratio. Here revaluation account, capital account and all. Anyways, you are going to draw revaluation account and capital account in the upcoming chapter. So then there, if you know this chapter also, it will be easier. Okay, so no need to go through all those topics from this chapter. Now next topic that we are going to discuss is admission of a partner. Admission of a partner. Here one important thing that you have to remember is ratio calculation. Here also, as I said, sometimes they will give new ratio and ask you to calculate the old ratio or some other values. So you should know how ratios are calculated, what is the concept behind the sacrificing ratio and all. So you should know how it is done. Second topic is goodwill entries. Goodwill entries, when I say, it is about partner. Obviously new partner is coming from outside, so he is bringing goodwill, right? What if he doesn't bring in goodwill? What are we going to do? Which account is going to be debited? All those cases. When the goodwill comes, we will be sharing it with the partner. What is the entry for that? Sometimes this goodwill will be withdrawn by the partner. What is the entry for that? Already existing goodwill will be there when a partner comes inside the business. So what are we supposed to do with that goodwill? So these are the topics that are coming under goodwill entries. So wherever you see goodwill calculations here, goodwill entries here, particularly in this chapter, so do that kind of sums. This is a very easy topic only. Okay, not hard topic. Next topic associated to goodwill is hidden goodwill. In this chapter there is a topic called hidden goodwill. Hidden goodwill is one of the most important topics in this chapter. Hidden goodwill calculations and all. Okay, what are the formulae that we are using for calculating hidden goodwill? So that need to be done. So when hidden goodwill comes, what are the entries that we need to pass? In which situation which entry need to be passed? All those things comes under goodwill calculations. Next is obviously all the reserves, especially workman compensation reserve and investment fluctuation reserve. These two cases study well. Okay, once you study this topic in this chapter, we can do any chapter sum or any chapters journal entries we can pass. So make sure that workman compensation reserve related adjustments you have to do, investment fluctuation reserve related adjustment also you have to do. These are one of the some of the most important topics in this chapter. Entries you can do. At the same time, then as I said in the previous chapter, net effect method. Net effect method means reserves are not to be distributed, revised values of assets and liabilities are not to be shown in the books. This kind of statement comes, then what to do? That kind of questions you have to practice. Next is obviously provision for doubtful debts. Provision for doubtful debts. So bad debts related adjustments and all, try to do more. Bad debts related adjustments and all, try to do more. So this is one of the important topics for this year. Okay, bad debts we need to do. The next is next topic is revaluation account, capital account and balance sheet. Balance sheet. Obviously, even balance sheet type of question also you have to practice. Most of the time now we are, or most of us are doing only revaluation account, capital account preparation alone. Sometimes it can be balance sheet also. So prepare balance sheet and keep. Okay, study balance sheet also, practice balance sheet questions also, so that you will get an idea, overall idea about what is, how to prepare the balance sheet. Sometimes we will feel like, okay, balance sheet preparation is very easy, so they will just leave it. Okay, but the problem is when we are facing a new question, obviously you may not get time to attend the question in the time that we are supposed to do the question, complete the question. Sometimes balance sheet liability side and asset side total will not be matching, so we'll get tensed, then we will lose marks. So to prevent all these things, make sure that balance sheet is also done properly. Okay, next obviously most important topic is as I said in the beginning of the video, I should have mentioned it first itself, okay, but without saying the other topics you cannot reach that topic. That is why I am just mentioning it at the this one, adjustment of capital. Adjustment of capital, this is one of the most important topics that we are expecting this year, especially for 6-mark questions and all. Okay, 6-mark questions and all, we are expecting adjustment of capital questions, that too from revaluation account, capital account kind of questions. Okay, 6-mark questions, you know how 6-mark question looks, right? So revaluation account, capital account, or revaluation account, capital account, balance sheet may come. So anyways, this adjustment of capital topics you have to study. There are 2 types of adjustment of capital in this chapter, so that both the types you have to do adjustment of capital. Next topic is obviously retirement and death. Retirement and death we are discussing together. So retirement and death of a partner. Retirement and death of a partner. First thing, ratio calculations are not that much important in this chapter compared to the previous chapters. Then most important thing is in this chapter is in retirement topic. First most important thing is adjustment of capital. Adjustment of capital. Already we have discussed revaluation account and capital account in the previous chapter, so I am not bringing it here because adjustment of capital includes the preparation of capital account itself. So capital account can be prepared only if revaluation account is there. So everything is connected. So revaluation account, capital account is coming here. So adjustment of capital is one of the most important topic you have to study here. There are 5 different types of adjustment of capital here in this chapter. Please do ensure that you have studied or you have learned all these methods thoroughly, okay, before you go for board exams. So adjustment of capital here also it is very important in these 2 chapters. Adjustment of capital is very important topic. Then next important topic is partners loan account. Partners loan account preparation. Partners loan account preparation. When you are studying this topic, make sure that you are also knowing the entries for this partners loan account. Entries are also important. So you just ensure that these entries also you go through very well. Okay, entries are also very important. So ensure that you are studying entries as well as the account preparation, how to calculate the interest, how many years account we have to prepare, okay, how this account is beginning, if partner is paid immediately some amount of money while he is leaving, what should be done. So all these topics you have to go through in this chapter, in this topic of retirement. And this next topic is in retirement, partners loan account and adjustment of capital is there. Then other than that, other topics, if we if you want me to say, obviously normal topics, investment fluctuation reserve will be there, then other reserves will be there, workman compensation reserve will be there, normal cases can come. Next is obviously in this chapter also hidden goodwill is there, which is not so important, but still, okay, make sure that you have gone through at least a few sums from this topic, hidden goodwill. This is also one of not too important, but it's a good topic that we can expect, okay, expect question from. Okay, so that is how it should be. But adjustment of capital, partners loan account preparation and all, you have to study well. Here also remember, whenever you are doing revaluation account, capital account, some certain topics like bad debts, provision for doubtful debts, all these things, make sure that you have done it. Okay, next topic, obviously in the previous chapter also it was there. So anyways, here we are discussing overvaluation and undervaluation of anything. Overvaluation and undervaluation, overvaluation and undervaluation of assets can come in the question. If overvaluation, undervaluation comes, what are we supposed to do? That kind of sums also you can do. You can see some adjustments will give. Some stock is undervalued, machinery is undervalued, furniture is undervalued. So at that time, what you are supposed to do? So that kind of calculations also make sure that you have done properly. So these are all from retirement chapter. Now when it retirement topic, now when it comes to death, obviously profit calculation or profit up to the date of death, profit up to the date of death. So there are 2 methods, as you know, time basis is there, turnover basis is there. Both the methods you have to do. That also indirect questions. All the methods, indirect questions, try to practice. Indirect questions should be practiced. Okay. So turnover basis also, time basis also, practice the indirect questions. And next thing is, when you are practicing, there is one topic called when profit sharing ratio changes, what will be the entry for sharing the profit up to the date of death. So that kind of cases also, profit sharing ratio changes. Cases are also there in the case of death chapter. So when profit sharing ratio changes, what are the entries that we need to pass, or what are we supposed to do? These kind of questions also you have to practice. So in death chapter or death topic, profit up to the date of death is one of the important topics. Next is obviously executors account preparation. Executors account preparation, which is more or closely related to our partner's loan account. Executors account preparation is also very important. Similarly, partners capital account. Partners capital account is also important. Partners capital account preparation. Here we know mostly we'll be preparing deceased partner capital account only, dead partners capital account only. So that capital account preparation, how are we supposed to do it? That is there. And additionally, when you are practicing, just do a couple of sums where partner is dying in the middle of the month. Usually we used to do like, okay, October 1 a person dies, October end a person dies. That is obviously we are calculating all some of the values in months. Sometimes the partner will die on, or the data will be given, says may say like this: partner died on October 11, October 12, or September 10. So like these random dates will be given. Random dates are given means you have to calculate everything in days. Okay, so days based calculations, how to do that also you just practice with the help of some reference materials. Try to go through certain sums. Okay, so days based, how to do the calculations. Okay, this is one thing. Next, there is a topic called section 37 of Indian Partnership Act, okay, which says that, okay, executor, or when a partner is leaving the business, he has got two options to receive the money due to him. So what are the two options? The section 37 is theory topic as well as one of the important calculation based topics also. So section 37 based at least one calculation. You just understand how the calculations are done according to section 37. Okay, so that is one of the next important topics. Next is obviously dissolution of partnership. I don't want to bore you with a lot of detailed explanation of all these topics, so that the video will become lengthy, and in the middle of the video you will be just skipping it. So my purpose is to make you clear with all the main topics that you are supposed to do. Okay, if you want further explanation on any of these topics that we discussed so far, or the topics which are coming up in our discussions, please do leave a comment so that we can do a video on that, so that your doubts in that particular topics will be clear. Okay, this video's intention is only to make you clear with all the topics. That means whether you have covered all the topics important for scoring the highest in accounts or not. Just to check that only we are discussing like this. So next topic is dissolution of partnership firm. In this there is no particular topic. You have to understand the entire concept of realization account and its entries. Realization account and its entries. Entire chapter is important. Okay, we cannot say like, okay, this will come, that will come. So most like we are expecting entries more. Sometimes realization account preparation will be coming. Sometimes realization account, capital account, bank account will be there. Preparation will be there. Sometimes partners loan account, loan to partner will be there. So these kind of accounts preparation or journal entries may come based on this. Then realization expense is one of the important topics. That is why I said realization account and its entries. Whatever is related to this realization account, all the entries, whether it can be capital account entry, bank account entry, loan account entry, whatever entries are there, whatever topics are there in this chapter, please do it. And this is one of the easiest chapters also among, if you consider or if you count all the chapters so far, one of the easiest chapter is this one only. If you understood only 2-3 things, important things are there, for such as like workmen compensation reserve treatment in this chapter. Okay, it is different from all the other chapters. So just only few things are different in this dissolution of partnership firm compared to the previous chapter. So just put maximum effort to understand this chapter well, and sometimes students used to get confused with this chapter and the previous one, realization account and revaluation account. Sometimes students used to get confused, so just get rid of all these kind of confusions, get a clarity on these topics: realization account, entries, workman compensation reserve, whatever topics are coming in there in this chapter, please study that topic. And when it comes to theory in this chapter, there are topics called modes of dissolution, difference between realization and revaluation account, difference between dissolution of partnership firm and reconstitution of partnership. These kind of topics study well, okay, when it comes to theory. Next obviously topic is accounting for share capital. Accounting for share capital. So accounting for share capital, that means basically company accounts. We are entering the company accounts part. So in this share capital part, first and foremost topic that we have to study is forfeiture and reissue of shares. Forfeiture and reissue of shares. Okay. So reissue of shares. So many of you have already or might have already started practicing, and also now you know that obviously on almost all the board papers this forfeiture and reissue questions are there. So do any maximum number of forfeiture and reissue of shares based questions, so that you will not have any problem with this concept, because it's a confusing concept, sometimes calculations and all. This is the area where most of the students make mistakes in calculations, okay, forfeiture and reissue. So please make sure that you have a proper clarity in the concept of forfeiture and reissue of shares before you enter your exam hall. So make sure that this topic is covered well. Then in that topic or shares chapter, next important topic, if you ask me, calls in arrears, calls in advance. Obviously when you are studying forfeiture and reissue, you will come across calls in arrears, but calls in advance you may not. Okay, sometimes only you will be using calls in advance. So calls in advance account also, how to prepare, or what are the entries related to calls in arrears, calls in advance and all, please go through very well. That is also one of the important topics here. Next is obviously balance sheet preparation. Balance sheet means obviously balance sheet showing share capital. Balance sheet showing share capital, that is also one of the important topics. So balance sheet showing share capital should be done. So share capital part of the balance sheet, how you will show what amount of share capital can be shown in the balance sheet and all. So these kind of questions also attend to like try to do maximum sums from these topics. Then next, okay, then journal entries, basic entries and all you can expect. Then shares issued for consideration other than cash, that also issued for consideration other than cash. This is also one of the like common topics, but it won't usually come from shares alone. It may be a kind of combination question, some from shares, some from debentures and all. So in debentures also we'll be discussing the same topic. That time we'll discuss more about this topic. So these are the important topics from this chapter. Okay, this accounting of shares chapter. Similarly, debentures, accounting for debentures chapter, there is no forfeiture, reissue, all those things. There, most important debentures chapter, you try to cover all the topics, okay, all the topics in debentures chapter, because we cannot omit any one of the topics. Shares we can particularly point at certain topics and say that okay, these are all most important topics, and others obviously you have to cover all the topics, but still we can at least point on certain topics. Debentures it is not the case. Debentures everything is important, including what to say, issue of debentures, normal cases. Next is loss on issue of debentures, loss on issue of debentures, how to treat the loss on issue of debentures, interest on debentures, debentures with redeemable cases. Redeemable cases. Next is collateral security. So basically almost all the topics issued for consideration other than cash. Basically all the topics, okay, in that chapter, everything has a unique entries. Some entries are connected also. So you just go through all these kind of cases. And unlike shares, there is no forfeiture reissue, then pro rata allotment. All these things are not that much important in debentures. It may or may not come. Okay. So debentures is done. Next topic is financial statements of a company. Of a company. In that, basically how the things are arranged in the financial statements. It can be balance sheet amounts like current asset, current liabilities. Balance sheet as a format, as you know, right? Now already you must have prepared your comparative common size balance sheet, comparative common size income statement, that means profit and loss account, or statement of profit or loss. So all these statements, obviously you must have observed balance sheet format, statement of profit or loss format and all. It is completely different. So this format and all, study well. What are the contents? That means under each heading there is a topic called major heading and subheading. So major heads, what are the major heads, what are the subheads, and what are the things or items that are coming under the subheads and major heads. We need to study that well. This is one of the important topics. This chapter is mainly theory based chapter. The next important theory in this chapter is obviously nature of financial statements. What is the limitation of financial statements? Similarly, so financial statements related, whatever theory is there, as in nature of financial statements, limitations of financial statements, who are using these statements, who are the users of these statements, benefits of this statement, importance of these statements. So all these basic things you have to cover. Basically it is a theory chapter. It won't take much of your time to cover all these things. Okay, so that is those are the important topics, and along with major head, subhead, and the items that are connected. Next topic is financial statement analysis. Financial statement analysis. So financial statement analysis is a chapter which deals with again theory only. They are talking about what are the tools that are used for financial statement analysis, what are the uses of these tools, benefits of these tools. Sometimes it may have limitations go through. Okay, so why I am saying it may have limitations is you do according to the book that you are following. Okay, so limitations are there, so don't get tensed. Okay, so if you just get an NCRT copy, also PDF of NCRT book, there details will be given. Limitations will be there in the NCRT book. Some of the books they may not print limitations and all. So limitations, if it is there in your book, you study that. Then other topics, importance of this financial statement analysis, which are the tools used. Tools means basically ratios, comparative common size statements, and cash flow statement. These are the tools. So these tools and all, just what is it? Okay, what are the different names or different types of financial statement analysis? All these things, example of different type of financial statement analysis, study that all those topics. So examples, financial statement. So entire theory in this chapter, whatever theory you come across in this chapter, just try to understand what it is. You don't have to by heart anything, just understand it. Okay, so that is one topic. As it is theory topic, I am not going into deep with all the topics. Okay, whatever topics are coming. Next is obviously accounting ratios. Counting ratios is a topic where most of the students get confused because of the question type of the questions that used to come for boards. Sometimes theory questions will come directly, sometimes indirect questions will come. They will not say clearly in the question that they are talking about accounting ratios, but question will be based on identify the tool of analysis used here and state any of its importance, limitations. So this kind of questions. So theory part, when we discuss what is an accounting ratio, what is the importance, what is the limitations of ratios, all these kind of theories should be covered. Then which are the classifications of ratios? So liquidity, solvency, activity or turnover, and profitability ratios are the classifications. What are the other names of ratios? You need to know. There are some ideal ratios in each category. Say for example, current ratios, ideal ratio is 2:1. Similarly, other ratios also, they have certain ratios only. They have some ideal ratios, proper ratios. These ratios and all you should know. Then some ratios, if they are adding, we are adding the values together, answer will be like 1. Some ratios when we add, we will get 100 percentage. So these kind of topics, and also ratio basic things only. Okay, there's some connections are there between certain ratios, that ratios you have to study. Then again, what is the meaning of each ratio? So when this ratio's value go up, what does it mean? Whether it is good or bad. When it goes down, whether it is good or bad. What are the components of each ratios? All these things you have to remember. Okay, so ratios, all the ratios are important, particularly turnover ratios. When you are studying, focus more on turnover ratios and solvency ratios. Turnover ratios and solvency ratio. It doesn't mean that other ratios won't be coming, but turnover ratios and all, it is tricky questions mostly will be coming from turnover and solvency ratios. Okay, other ratios also tricky questions they can ask, but compared to this, the level of the question that they give from this topic, those are easily like easy to solve. Okay, but these topics are not like that. And there are questions where they will give certain transactions and they will ask you whether the ratio will increase or decrease. So that kind of questions also you have to practice. For that, first we need to know what is the formula for the ratio and how to calculate each component of the ratio. Component means what? The numerator part, denominator part and all. So component part and all you have to study properly, how to calculate the components. Okay, components correctly. Say for example, current asset and current liabilities. What do you mean by current asset? How to calculate current assets? How to calculate current liabilities? Like these components also you have to study well. Okay, components also you have to study well. So this is one of the important topics. So ratios, when it comes, do all the ratios, understand what is the meaning of each ratio, what makes it different from the other ratio, what are the ratio uses of the ratios, what is liquidity ratio used for, what is solvency ratio used for, what is activity or turnover ratio used for, again profitability ratios purpose also. So you do all the ratios related to question. Even it will help you for business studies paper also. Some of the ratios are coming in business studies chapters also. So that ratio, okay, anyways. So compare and study business studies as well as this accounts ratios, because mostly some of the ratios that you are doing here are coming there also. Okay, so that ratio chapter is like that. Next topic, obviously, cash flow statement. Cash flow statement also importance, limitations, all these things are there, you have to go through. Then cash flow statement is divided into 3 parts, operating activity, investing and financing activity. What are the activities coming there? What are the operating activities? What are the investing activities? What are the financing activities? You have to go through. Then next thing is you have to identify, or you have to clarify the operating activity of financial company and non-financial companies. So when you are studying, understand what is a financial company, what are the operating activities of a financial company, what are the investing activities, what are the financial activities. Similarly, non-financial companies, what are the investing, operating and financing activities of a non-financial company. Like that you have to learn. Okay, so all these ratios, so all these topics you have to cover. All these are theory topics only. The next is like some transactions they may give and ask you whether it is cash inflow or outflow. Inflow means what? We are getting cash, and outflow means we are giving money. So whether it is cash inflow or outflow. So basically that topics also you have to cover. So what is inflow, what is outflow, when it will be inflow, when it will be outflow, all these topics you have to cover properly. These are all theory topics. Next is obviously calculations part. Calculation part, we cannot say that okay, of particularly this topic only will come. Try to do maximum indirect sums from cash flow topic. You can do individual topics also. That means you can do net profit before tax and extraordinary items calculation separately, operating activity separately, investing activity separately, financing activity separately. Anyways, you know that it is cash flow statement is the combination of all these activities. So individually also you can try out maximum indirect sums from this topic, and this one together also, that means combined also you can try out maximum questions from this topic. All these topics are important. Obviously cash flow is expected for 6 marks, there is no doubt in that. Cash flow is expected for 6 marks, so that also you can cover. You have to cover all these topics. Cash flow compulsorily you have to cover. Theory also may come, numerical anyways it will come, theory also it may come. Okay, so what to say, that topic also you have to cover properly. Cash flow statement is one of the, again, like debentures, cash flow is also one of the easily scholable topics. So please make sure that you have prepared yourself with this topic when before you enter the exam hall. Okay, now you must be thinking why I missed one chapter, right? Okay, that chapter is actually very easy chapter, that is why I just kept it for the last. That is topic name is comparative and common size statements. Comparative and common size statements. So comparative and common size statement, here also it is a chapter where we cannot say okay this will come, this won't come. So here also try to do maximum indirect sums. Indirect sums means like what to say, comparative statement they may give percentage, they may not give one column. Okay, they may ask you to fill up the comparative and common size statements, fill in the blanks kind of questions you can expect from this topic. Next is like some values they will not give directly, they will say that this value is the percentage, this much percentage of some other value. So this kind of connection questions also try to practice more. So enough references are there in the previous year or past paper, sample paper and all, you will get a lot of reference or a lot of good questions based on this topic. This topic is also expected only, obviously expected for 3 or 4 marks we can expect this topic. So this is also one of the important topics for boards, but obviously easy topics on. Okay, easy topic. So within, if you are ready to spend at least 1.5 hour, we can complete the entire topic. We have to understand what is comparative statement, what is common size statement, theory also. Okay, and its importance, what is it used for, what if there is any limitations for it. So all these things, importance, limitations and all, you study well. Okay, from these topics also. So these are the important topics for boards. To recall, when we started with partnership and all, we have mentioned a lot of topics. When it comes to you, if you must have observed, when it comes to share capital and all, the topics became very less. Okay, debentures obviously in their chapter I said, but when it comes to the last topic, financial statements of a company, financial statement analysis and all, we have not discussed anything much in detail, because that chapter is, those chapters are basically theory chapters. Theory chapters means, you know, theory chapters weightage in accountancy paper is very less, but you have to cover some of the important theories. So what is financial statement? So some theories I have mentioned, or some topics I have mentioned in each topic. At least try to cover those topics before you enter the exam hall. Okay, then accounting ratios, obviously this is also like, particularly we cannot point at any ratios, but twisted ratios are which one? Turnover and solvency ratios, where they can ask confusing questions. So focus more on this kind of ratios well, so that you will secure maximum marks. Even 100 also it's possible. So turnover and solvency ratios, study more. It's not like only study these ratios, any ratios can come, because one more thing is there, some of you have done your projects in this topic only, accounting ratio topic only. So obviously you need to know all the ratios, what is the impact on its on that ratio on the business. So in all the topics are important, but still to say turnover ratios and solvency ratios are a little bit complex. So prepare that very well compared to other ratios. Other ratios are very easy to grasp. So these two ratios study well. Then ideal ratios and you should know. Then in which situation ratio will improve, in which situation ratio will decline. This kind of questions also you have to practice. Next is cash flow statement that we discussed. Cash flow statement, entire cash flow statement is important. Investing, financing, operating activity, individual, indirect questions, try more, try to practice more, then only your confidence will increase. Okay, or improve. So that is there. Next is financial company. What is a financial company, what is a non-financial company, you need to know. So again, why I am discussing these topics is because we have not mentioned anything in detail from these topics when I explained. Okay, I just explained the topics, but I didn't mention that particularly, or I didn't write any particular topics from these topics. That is why I'm just explaining it once again, so that it will be easy for you to remember. So cash flow statement, all the three activities, sometimes net profit before tax and extraordinary items, how to calculate that. So all these things remember properly. Next is comparative and common size statement, the entire chapter, there is nothing to omit. entire chapter indirect questions. Again, try to practice. Indirect means percentage or fill in the blanks kind of questions you try to practice. Sometimes percentage will be given, how to calculate those percentages and all, that kind of questions you practice. Then partnership, just to recall main topics. Partnership, first chapter, obviously past adjustment, guarantee of profit, study well. Then I'm just going through the topics very quickly. Past adjustments, guarantee of profits, then interest on capital, then appropriation account, capital account preparations, then interest on drawings, especially average period method, then again goodwill and theory topics in that goodwill chapter, then capital employed calculations, all the method, they are also indirect questions. Next is change in profit sharing ratio, mostly ratio calculation questions you have to do, then net effect kind of questions. Then admission of a partner, ratio calculation, obviously goodwill entries when a partner brings, then hidden goodwill kind of questions, then all the reserves, especially workman compensation reserve, investment and fluctuation reserve and all. Then next is there also net effect method, provision for bad debts or bad debts related entries and all. Then adjustments and all, revaluation account, capital account, balance sheet. Then adjustment of capital. Adjustment of capital is important for both retirement and admission chapter. Then partners loan account preparation in retirement chapter, hidden goodwill, obviously. Then overvaluation, undervaluation of asset related questions, profit up to the date of death, methods to calculate the profit up to the date of death of a partner. So there two methods are there, both the methods, indirect question, profit sharing ratio changes, that kind of questions also you need to practice. Executors account you need to prepare, partners capital account prepare and practice. Then next is section 37. Section 37, what is section 37? According to that, what are the amounts that should be paid to the executor or the retiring partner, that we need to know. Then again, dissolution of partnership from the entire chapter, any entries related to realization account preparation also may come. Loan cases, partners loan, loan to partner, all these things, realization expense related entries. So all these things you need to do. The next is accounting for share capital. Obviously forfeiture and reissue, highly expected. Then calls in arrears, calls in advance, very important topic which you need to be thorough with. Balance sheet questions you need to be thorough with. Issue or consideration other than cash, here also that is obviously you can expect that topic for debentures also. So debentures and shares, issue for consideration other than cash, that kind of questions you have to do. Then again, when it comes to debentures, all the topics in debentures you have to go through. Okay, there is nothing to omit. I have just mentioned some of the topics: loss on issue of debentures, issue interest on debentures, debentures with redeemable cases, collateral security, consideration other than cash. This much you have to prepare when it comes to shares and debentures topics. So basically to say, when you are practicing, do only or do maximum indirect questions. Okay, indirect questions from each topic, and only you will get the confidence to face the boards. Okay, so please make sure that you have covered all these topics. I just wanted to make a short video on all these important topics. That is why we didn't, what to say, discuss the calculation of certain things or calculation of certain topics and all in detail. If you want any topics to be discussed further, obviously you can leave a comment and we'll be doing a video on that. Okay, so all the best for your boards preparations, and please do follow our videos for further clarity, or if you need any clarity in your preparations. Okay, and please do let us know if you need us to clear any of your doubts when it comes to board exam accountancy preparations. Thank you.